Hey, fifth grade. A few practical things that are going to help you to be able to locate the things that you need and be successful in our language arts learning for this quarter. Um, you can see on my screen here, I have a Google Doc, and this is actually your Monday writing assignment. Those of you who are in 5B, make sure that you join the Google Classrooms for grammar and writing and for reading that I host. The codes for those are in the calendar for fifth grade assignments that we have shared with you. So make sure that you join those because you will need to belong to them in order to see your assignments. This is your writing assignment for today. I wanted to point out a couple of things in here. You're actually going to do your writing in this actual document. Do not start a new Google Doc. You'll actually type your paragraph right down in this space here, and when you are finished with it, click Turn In on Google Classroom. Do not start a new Google Doc and share it. Type it directly into this document here. We're working on informational text, and here's a perfect example of where you want to use your skills to make sure that you understand what to do. Make sure that you read these directions. That's informational text really slowly. You might need to read them out loud to make sure that you understand what it is that you need to do. Sometimes this basic format will look pretty similar on many of the days. But you'll notice I've colored, I've highlighted something right in there that is specifically different for today's writing. Make sure that the writing that you do includes the things that have been noted in the directions. Don't just assume that it's the exact same as the assignment was the day before. Each day I'm going to ask you to work on some specific skills, and I want to see those in your writing. The usual format will be that on one day I'll ask you to write about a particular topic in a certain style or form, and then I'll put some comments into that document, and the next day you need to go in and make some revisions based on the comments that I've given to you. Now I always want you to think about the fact that the goal of a good writer is to make it easy for a reader to understand or picture in their mind what you're talking about. So you're really performing a service for the reader. Make it easy for them. We often talk about a good writer does everything they can not to drive their reader crazy. You want to make sure that you're using the rules of language, capitalization, punctuation, variety in your sentences, because readers just have kind of a short attention span. So make sure that you're not using the same words over and over again, and that all your sentences aren't super short. Make some short ones, make some long ones, join them together in different ways because it helps to keep your reader interested. And the comments that I give you will be things that you need to work on in your writing to make it easier for a reader to understand what you are saying. When you see my comments, you'll just see them right along there. Really think about, why would she ask me to add a comma there? Think about, why do I need it there? Resist the temptation to just pop in that comma and move on. Think about, why do I need to do that? Our goal is that you will get to a place where you'll be able to do the things that were in my comments one day, that the next time you write something, that you'd be able to do that on your own without a reminder. And then we can move on to something that more mature writers are doing. Keep in mind that everybody has comments in their writing. Whether you find writing challenging or whether you're a really good writer, all of us are growing and learning and can make improvements to make our writing easier for a reader to understand. So keep that in mind. The comments that you see in your document don't mean, oh, I'm a terrible writer. There's lots of comments. They're there because we're all growing as writers, and making revisions to our writing is one of the very best ways that we can continue to grow as a writer. So anxious to see your writing coming in and building our writing skills together over this quarter. A couple other things that I wanted to point out to you. Each of you has a daily reading log. 5Z, you have already started this. 5B, you'll find that daily reading log in Google Classroom, in the Reading Classroom. This is just a place where I want you to record what you're reading on a daily basis in your free reading. Free reading for at least 20 minutes every day isn't a new expectation. That's something that we've been doing all year long. But recording that just helps to hold you accountable to actually doing it, and it also allows me to be able to interact with you a little bit about what you're reading. I might ask you a question or just have a conversation about that with you. If you are able to maintain your daily reading log in a digital format, that would be great, because then I can interact with you on that. If that just doesn't work well for you, it's okay to print it out and just handwrite it, and then when we get to the end of the school year, you can take a picture of it and send it to me. Then I'm not able to interact with you on a weekly basis, so if you're able to complete that daily reading log digitally, that would be awesome. And again, 5B, it's noted in the Monday assignment, but you'll access that on my Google Classroom reading. You have a number of websites that you're using, and I know some of you have had a little bit of a hard time keeping track of all of those, and there's just a lot going on. Your calendar for 5th grade assignments is always your home base. Use that, and as you finish assignments, mark them off so you know that you are finished. Sometimes there will be a direct link in that assignment document to No Red Ink or to ReadWorks or to Freckle or to SumDog, and that actually saves you a step. If we post those links in Google Classroom, then you have to go to Google Classroom first, and then you have to click on the link, and you'll still have to enter your username and password regardless. So it actually saves you a step if we just put that directly into the assignment document. But you can make that easier for yourself. Those sites that we use on a regular basis that I just listed, make sure that you have those bookmarked on your computer. I use Google Chrome as my browser, and there's just a little star that you can click to bookmark that so that you can easily access it. If you use a different browser, you can certainly Google or ask somebody in your family how to bookmark that, but that would make it just way easier for you to save those websites so you can go to them very easily. Keep handy with you the list of your usernames and your passwords for each of those sites. And because you're just working at home, I don't see any reason why, and you're on the same devices, I think it would be appropriate to also save the usernames and passwords. If you have a sister or a brother who uses one of those same websites, it might not be the best idea to save a username and password so you don't get mixed up. But if you're the only one in your family that's using, for example, No Red Ink, I would just save the username and password when that little pop-up comes, and that'll save you another step of not having to enter it every time. I want to talk specifically about No Red Ink. I'm going to flip over to a different screen that I've got set up here. We use No Red Ink to help us with our grammar skills. And again, the reason we learn our grammar skills is so we don't drive readers crazy in our writing and our speaking. When we follow the rules of our language, it just makes it easier for everybody. When you have an assignment on No Red Ink, keep in mind that it's not just certain answer 5 questions and you're finished. As you get more skilled, the questions will just gradually increase a little bit so that you're always growing your grammar and writing skills. And if you're having trouble, it's going to adjust that a little bit so that you get more practice on the things that you're having a hard time with. But there are some things that really can help you in No Red Ink, the kinds of things that we might do in the classroom to help you know how to handle a new concept in grammar. Those tools are right here in the No Red Ink website. So when you are ready to start, this is actually the Tuesday assignment here. I'm going to click begin, and you'll notice it says lesson and practice. Now think about your goal. Our goal is to learn how to use the rules of language in a way that help us not drive readers and listeners crazy. So with that, we really want to make sure that we know what we're doing. The goal, as much as you might sometimes feel like, I just want to get her done so I can get outside and get playing again, I get that. But at the same time, that's kind of a waste of your time. So if you're going to do it, we might as well learn some things that can actually help us when we communicate with other people. So make sure that when you get to a new one, that you click on learn, and you're going to see this, and sometimes you'll say, well, okay, I'm just going to get to the practice part so I can get finished and be done. Bad idea. This is what we would be doing in the classroom to help you understand what the practice is about. So if you're finding, I get to my No Red Ink practice and I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing, that might be because you're skipping over these screens too quickly. Take the time to carefully read and study what's going on. This is another example of informational text where you might have to read very slowly. You might need to read some things out loud. But if you quickly race through it just to get to the next screen, that next screen is going to feel really hard. So make sure that you're taking the time to carefully read. Think of this as part of your learning, part of your reading lesson, actually understanding what is on that screen. It's not a good idea to just click through that screen to get to the practice part so you can be finished, because that's going to make it hard for yourself. Make sure that you're doing those screens. Let me see. One more thing that I wanted to talk about with you is about how much time should you be spending on your schooling at home time. There are definitely some advantages to doing our schooling at home. There's not everything that we can do at home that we would normally do at school, but we do have the expectation that we need to help you learn the things that fifth graders need to learn to be ready to move on to sixth grade when the fall comes. So I need you to set your mind for school is for learning. And so I understand that sometimes that's hard, and it just, especially in a different environment, it just kind of feels like I just want to get her done so I can get outside and do what I want to do. But set your mind, when it's time for school at home, school is for learning. The point is to learn. So, about how much time should you be spending? When we first talked on that Friday, when this was all new to us and we didn't know how this was all going to work, Mrs. Berry and I had said, well, figure you should spend at least an hour. Realistically, since we're doing this until the end of the school year, an hour is not going to be enough. It's just not realistic to be able to learn all the things that you need to know and learn in only an hour. It's just not going to happen. It is more realistic to expect that you're going to be spending at least 2 to 3 hours every day. Sometimes for some of you, it just takes a little bit longer, and so it wouldn't be surprising if some of you need to spend more than that. That it just is. Things that are important take some time, and I want you to realize that that's just part of, we need to invest the time to learn the things that we need to learn. So assume that you're going to be spending 2 to 3 hours every day doing your schooling at home. Now, what do you do if maybe you're a faster worker, maybe some of the things are, I've had more experience with them and they've come a little bit more easily for you. If you're finished in an hour, should you just, okay, good, I'm good to go, I'm going to go outside? The answer is, remember, school is for learning. And you'll notice on the end of our fifth grade assignments, I'm going to show you, here's our fifth grade assignments doc for the week. And this has been there actually for each of the weeks, but I'm not sure that all of you have noticed it. You'll notice it says extra, finishing your assignments in less than an hour, or ready for another challenge. If you're not spending 2 to 3 hours on your school learning, you need to choose some things from this list to make sure that you are continuing your learning. Not all of us are equally skilled at the same things. Some of you have awesome math skills and you're going to be able to work through your math learning fairly quickly, but you might find that the reading and writing assignments take you longer. Others of you are going to be completely reversed. It's going to be different for different people, but keep in mind, school's for learning. So if you are finished in less than 2 to 3 hours, plan on, I need to select one of these. And if you're not sure which one you should select, Mrs. Berry and I would be happy to help you. If we notice that you're ready for another challenge, because school's for learning, we may specifically direct you to one of those two to say, hey, I want you to take on this writing project. It'll be a great way to keep your writing skills growing. Or this is a perfect time to beef up your keyboarding skills. We may direct you to that, but we want to give you first that opportunity to kind of think through that on your own and recognize, hey, if I'm finishing in less than 2 to 3 hours, school's for learning, and I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage of that. So, as you finish up this video, keep in mind that there is a document that you'll be able to click on in the Google Classroom assignment. It'll look like this. And it's just simply a way for you to think about the information that I've just shared with you in this video that'll help you to get organized. You can actually type your answers into the document and then click turn in so that I know that you've been thinking about all of those things as well. Being organized is just, it's a helpful life skill. We're doing things a little differently in these days, and so we have to think of some new ways to be organized, but organization helps whether you're in the classroom, whether you're schooling at home, or regardless of what you're doing, working in your job. Ask your parents how they stay organized, and I think you'll be surprised at all the ways that they actually spend a lot of effort keeping things organized so they can get accomplished what they need to. So these are a few tips to help you with that. See you later.